Ollie.
Alex, hi, I'm Mr. Johnson. Hey. I was hoping to catch Stephanie before she left for her tour.
This is unreal.
Okay, woman in Italy, what? I don't understand.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Try, because I'm lost here.
Ever since I started reading Wuthering Heights, I've been getting hit with these little flashes, memories, I think, from when I was in hospital for a very, very long time. It was this woman reading that book to me. I can't remember her face. I couldn't recognize her voice.
That's not possible.
It was several years ago. Are you telling me that you had no idea that...
I hardly remember.
In today's episode breakdown, we dive into Sophia's creepy bond with Rachel, Tate's growing trouble at school, and the escalating danger surrounding Stephanie as Alex and Steve finally realize she's being stalked. Meanwhile, EJ unlocks a strange and emotional memory from his time in Italy, and Kat wastes no time taking advantage of it. Plus, Chad's disappearance raises major custody questions, and new spoilers hint that Stephanie's longtime nightmare, Owen Kent, is officially on his way back to Salem. Finally, EJ reveals a startling memory from his time in Italy as Alex, and Steve discovers Stephanie has a Salem stalker. Today on Days of Our Lives, EJ makes a startling discovery. Steve and Alex worry about Stephanie's fan, and Sophia gains Rachel's trust. Rachel is reassured by Sophia that she is not angry about Johnny and Chanel's adoption, just a bit depressed. Rachel, however, recognizes Sophia's deception and inquires as to whether she can be trusted. Avoid being foolish. You can trust me, of course. Instead of being foolish, Rachel chooses to believe Sophia, who informs her that they are misunderstood kindred spirits who must support one another. She explains how things operate in Bayview and warns Rachel that if she says something inappropriate in therapy, she will be detained there for a longer period of time. After volunteering to help Rachel with Double Desert, Sophia curls up even more. When Rachel hopes she could reciprocate, she says she'll figure something out. To what extent is Tate in trouble? After Tate's visit with Rachel, Holly consoles him on the square. However, he informs her that she is unable to come see him. Additionally, he will be paying Sophia a visit because she was out and about. After receiving an A in film class, Holly says, "Sure thing," in a cheerful tone. As Tate pouts over his C-, she departs to return to her internship. In order to spend more time with the infant, Chanel suggests to Johnny across the square that it might be time to recruit someone else at Sweet Bits. But when they see Tate, they put the conversation on hold, and he tells them about Sophia and Rachel. Tate has the opportunity to confront his teacher about his grade after Chanel takes Trey for a ride. Johnny informs him straight up that the C was already giving. He should focus on getting passing grades in his other classes if he's failing them. Stephanie is being stalked by who? Before heading out on her book tour, Stephanie attempts to finish some Christmas decor. She and Alex had a brief makeout session before she needs to get ready to depart for the tour. Therefore, it raises the question of why she believed she would have time to decorate. Just before Kate brings the car for the excursion, Papa knocks on their door and wishes her luck. After escorting Stephanie outside, Steve comes back to inform Alex that he had the fan letter examined. From handwriting alone, it would seem that the writer was left-handed, most likely male, and possessed obsessive thoughts and emotional instability. But all right, having worked at Body and Soul, Alex is aware of how awkward it is for fans to become fixated on him and become unable to distinguish him from his role. This is clearly pointed. At that point, Holly shows up carrying a stack of letters that the emotionally unstable man sent from Salem. What does EJ recall about Kat? Kat, still concerned about Chad, drops into the DeMera estate. EJ dismisses her worries, claiming that Chad texted him to reassure him not to worry. When Kat queries it, he becomes quite defensive before backing down and saying he's sorry. When Kat uses Wuthering Heights to illustrate her feelings for Chad, it seems to bring back memories for EJ because she was the one who read to him in Italy while he was recuperating from death. Kat is perplexed. Her pre-accident and post-accident memories were vague. However, following her own injury, she was referred to a specialist in Italy. EJ maintains that's the reason he finds her so attractive. He always felt compelled to watch out for her because she took care of him by reading with him for hours on end. There must have been a relationship between them. In the last scenes of the show, Rachel compliments Sophia for making the place less frightening while they play cards. Then Sophia says, "I feel exactly the same way," with a frightful smile. They both have a lot of questions once Kat absorbs everything. Kat offers Italian to stimulate their memories when EJ invites her to supper. Excellent. That can be handled by EJ's chef. 5 o'clock for drinks. Assuring Alex that there is no immediate threat, Steve leaves to examine the fresh letters. However, a man wearing a black jacket, pants, and gloves looms outside Stephanie's Chicago room as she enters. Days of Our Lives. Stephanie's fearsome stalker is coming for vengeance as Owen Kent returns. When a villain from Stephanie Johnson's past reappears, her life will soon be in jeopardy. Soon, Owen Kent will return to Salem. Additionally, it appears that he may be the one stalking her rather than the person we've been told is. Since Owen Kent, Stephanie's biggest nightmare, has returned, we will discuss her stalker dilemma. We need to unload a lot. Days of Our Lives, the turning point in Stephanie's life. With Alex Kyriakis, a reformed playboy, Stephanie at last discovered a stable and loving relationship. On Valentine's Day 2025, we witnessed Stephanie and Alex rekindle their romance. In the fall of 2025, they also moved in together. However, Stephanie hasn't always had such luck with guys, as you may be aware. The recent reappearance of Jeremy Horton amply illustrates her troubled romantic history. Recently, Stephanie informed Alex about the time Jeremy submerged her head in a hot tub. That was only one of many violent, abusive acts. There was more verbal abuse than physical violence, but it wasn't a good thing. A history of unsatisfactory romances with Jeremy Horton. Alex and Stephanie are now suspicious of Jeremy's activities. Alex concluded that Jeremy was the one who revealed Stephanie to be Anastasia Sands, but it was actually EJ DiMera. After that, Alex and Stephanie had a truly crazy idea. They came to the conclusion that Jeremy purposefully dated Stephanie's best friend Jada Hunter by hacking or manipulating the Salem singles dating app. They also genuinely believe that Jeremy did something that he didn't do. When Jeremy revealed that he had dated Stephanie in the past, Jada immediately ended their date, which irritated him. Even so, despite his annoyance, Jeremy simply threw a small pumpkin on the ground, which isn't exactly the actions of a major villain, is it? Jeremy was also held accountable by Alex and Stephanie for leaving the pumpkin catapult unattended. While the teacher was walking away from the science station, Rachel Black and Thomas DiMera grabbed the apparatus and threw a pumpkin. Alex got in the way, so they hit him instead of Chad DiMera. However, there was a person in the square who looked a lot like Jeremy and was carrying a knife while wearing black gloves. Additionally, Days wants us to believe it's Jeremy. It isn't. The unidentified individual almost missed stabbing Alex. Naturally, we're all made to believe that it was Jeremy, but it seems highly unlikely. A difficult path to love. The tumultuous history of Stephanie and Alex on Days of Our Lives. Let's take a step back. This is Stephanie's second chance at falling in love with Alex. If you recall, he wasn't such a nice man the first time. In 2022, shortly after Stephanie returned to Salem and began working for Titan, they began dating. There was a whole strange relationship between Alex and Philip Kyriakis. After having sex with most of Salem, Alex had fallen deeply in love with Stephanie. However, he said that he fell in love with her the moment he laid eyes on her. She broke up with Alex because he had shut down Stephanie's phone because he was so envious of Chad during their first kiss. Normally, that wouldn't matter, but Kayla Brady, Stephanie's mother, was very ill and in the hospital. and it is said that she passed away. Because Alex turned off her phone, Stephanie was not present. Fortunately, Kayla was only assumed dead, as is sometimes the case in Salem, and not actually dead. And in the end, Stephanie forgiven Alex. The history of Stephanie and Chad on days. Stephanie ended up dating Chad after ending her relationship with Alex. Things were going too quickly, even though Stephanie moved in with Chad and the children. He was unable to commit to her after that because Chad planned to terminate her ex-boyfriend Everett Lynch. She specifically dumped him. Chad's obsession with the past proved harmful. He was still hurting, therefore it wasn't fair to Stephanie that he couldn't commit. She then focused on Everett, her ex, whom Stephanie believed had passed away years prior. As it happens, Jada was his wife. The other woman was Stephanie. There was a big story about him going missing, getting hit by a car, and going into a coma. It had a lot of soap, due to his dissociative identity disorder. Everett believed he was both Everett, who was dating, and Bobby Stein, who was married to Jada. Because he was too aware of the fact that Lee Shin had been assassinated by insane Connie Viniski, poor Everett ended up being poisoned. Stephanie was so distraught that she truly believed Everett had taken his own life. For Stephanie, it was just another failed romance. Poisoned sodas and unsettling fan mail on DOOL, the stalker attacks. She is currently in a wonderful relationship with Alex, but he is concerned about the eerie fan letters Stephanie is receiving. Alex was so alarmed by one of the anonymous notes that he gave it to her father, Steve Johnson, so he could take another look. Steve decided to investigate, despite Patch's belief that Alex was exaggerating. They had no idea that Alex's drink from a recent food delivery had also been tampered with by a creeper wearing black gloves. He might be the author of some of these eerie letters. Even though Alex was fortunate not to drink the soda, the poison must have been quite potent because he continued to feel strange and drowsy the following day. He attributed it on the poor quality of the takeout. Wes Ramsey is back. Official Days of Our Lives comings and goings news confirms that Owen Kent has plans when he returns to Salem, and he will return shortly. Additionally, it has been revealed that Wes Ramsey is playing the same part he did in 2009. He played Owen in about 20 episodes at the time. I do believe he is the person who poisoned Alex's Coke and is pursuing Stephanie, as we have seen him do in The Black Gloves. When Stephanie checks into the hotel for her book tour this week, Owen is probably the one stalking her and sending those eerie letters. After failing to stab Alex on Halloween and only managing to cut his coat, it appears that Owen attempted to poison him. As seen in the winter promo, we also know that Stephanie has been abducted. Steve grabs a man wearing a black hoodie while he's out looking for Stephanie, thinking it was Jeremy who took her. Just picture Steve's shock when it turns out to be Owen Kent. After this, some people will feel obligated to apologize to Jeremy because it appears that he has truly changed. Considering the entire hot tub event, I don't think he will receive an apology, but I do believe he would like it known for the record that he wasn't doing what he was accused of. Owen Kent is who? An examination of the villain's compulsive history on days. As part of an ongoing conflict between the DeMoras and Kyriakis, Owen was hired to kidnap Stephanie while he was a gardener and an informant for the DeMoras on Days of Our Lives years ago. Owen had a major crush on Stephanie at the time. After Stephanie was saved by her then-boyfriend, Philip Melanie Jonas, Owen ended up getting arrested. Brady Black, who was also assisting in her search. The truck that was transporting Owen to prison was subsequently taken over, and he got away. Stephanie was traumatized by the entire experience, and because Philip refused to sever his relationship with his father, Victor Kyriakis, who was involved in the entire situation, she dumped him. Will a real-life kidnapping increase book sales in Days of Our Lives, where art is inspired by life? Naturally, we have Owen back now that Stephanie is a successful author of filthy books, and her picture is everywhere. It appears that he emerged from hiding, still harboring feelings for Stephanie and prepared to murder her boyfriend, Alex, in order to win her over. As you recall, Stephanie was forewarned by eccentric Susan Banks that her new murder mystery book would come true. Kate Roberts and Maggie Horton Kyriakis discussed this week how Stephanie's latest book's sales didn't meet their expectations. However, I predict that sales will soar if Owen abducts Stephanie, and her life becomes a real-life murder mystery. That's a bright side, at least. After John, Deidre Hall discusses retirement and Marlena's love life. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Deidre Hall recently discussed retirement and Marlena's romantic life following John Black. Hall talked about her day's career and potential future developments for her character in an interview with Woman's World. To begin with, Hall stated that she is not in a rush to leave Salem. Hall isn't even considering a day's exit at this time because she enjoys portraying Marlena and working with so many amazing individuals. Hall said, "You'll have to drag me out of there." Deidre Hall talked on the fantastic cast of the program, which has clearly grown to be like family to her. It's encouraging to know that Hall plans to remain and contribute to numerous upcoming DOOL tales. Could Marlena have a new romantic interest in one of the plots? Although it's difficult because John was arguably Marlena's soulmate and the real love of her life, Hall isn't discounting her character's potential for romantic bliss in the future. Marlena will undoubtedly require additional time to process this immense loss and come to terms with her existence without John. Even while this won't happen right away, Marlena might eventually fall in love with another man. Hall acknowledged, "I believe Marlena will fall in love again." Hall is letting Day's writers and the casting department decide who Marlena might fall in love with when the time comes. Hall is sure that they would understand that finding a new partner for Marlena is a big ask because she has complete faith in them. The narrative will undoubtedly honor the love Marlena formerly shared with John if she should find a new romantic partner. Stay tuned for updates on any potential love interest news, as Deidre Hall stated that chemistry and magic would still be necessary for a new pairing to succeed. According to teasers for Days of Our Lives, Marlena will have to cope with additional family trouble in the interim. Kristen and Tony's bad news. Chad's vanishing act raises custody issues. According to previews for Friday, December 5th, Days of Our Lives, Kristen and Tony DiMera will give unpleasant news, and Chad DiMera's disappearance will raise problems for the custody judge. On Friday's episode, Chad will awaken in the DiMera crypt and ponder what is happening. Chad will be informed by Tony and Kristen that he is the most recent victim of DiMera's captivity and that there has been no indication of a rescue as of yet. Kristen and Tony have been concerned that their abductor may plan to keep them there for a long time because there is an abundance of food and water. Additionally, Tony and Kristen understood that additional DiMeras might join them, and Chad has now done so. Chad will worry about missing the custody court, but he will also worry about Theo Carver being the next. Chad will be upset about the entire situation since he knows his children will likely believe he voluntarily skipped Thanksgiving. Kat Green will meet Jennifer Horton Devereaux in the town square and make a deal offer. Kat may want to delay the custody court until Chad shows up, but Jennifer will refer to Kat as a predator and won't be in the mood to compromise. According to Days spoilers, Kat's attempt to come to an agreement with Jennifer appears to be about to fail because the custody case will proceed. At some point during Thursday's DOOL episode, Thomas DiMera will receive some encouraging advice from Jack Devereaux. According to previews for Days, Judge Dabney will finally ask Chad regarding his abrupt departure and the last time he was heard from. It can appear as though Chad simply couldn't be bothered to show up because someone has been sending phony updates from his phone. That might result in Judge Dabney giving Jack and Jennifer temporary, full custody of Thomas and Charlotte DiMera. According to other Days spoilers, Gabby Hernandez will warn Theo Thus, she might advise him to avoid being too involved in DiMera's problems. Gabby could also want to confirm if they still agree that Theo is hiding her sabotage of the Titan-DiMera merger. Since Gabby is gradually developing feelings for Philip Kyriakis, there is more at risk every day. He will obsess over his time spent at that Italian clinic with Kat, over with E.J. DiMera. When Kat gets back to the mansion, E.J. will try to recall more and bond with her over cocktails. Now that E.J. has revealed what he remembers, Kat is acting foolishly and is prepared to take some risks. Stay tuned for some pre-dinner drama as Kat will kiss E.J. and drug his drink in the upcoming episode or two. According to teasers for Days of Our Lives, Kat and E.J. will soon engage in a risky game. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Will Sophia and Rachel become an unholy pair? Are interested in seeing how Sophia Choi and Rachel Black's relationship develops. We initially believed that Sophia might be completely crazy and that she intended to adopt Rachel and flee with her. Though absurd, that is somewhat typical for the program. We believe that will eventually come into play. Below is further information on that. Even though it appears that she merely wanted Rachel to reassure her about who had taken her child, now she will be seeking full-scale retribution. It might get quite interesting, making an escape plan. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives indicate that Rachel is crucial and that Sophie will take things to the next level. We believed that she would flee and take Rachel as her own daughter. For Rachel, it would teach her a valuable lesson about not frightening or hurting people. Perhaps that's what would make Rachel change her mind. In any case, we believe Sophia will try to make a splash in order to hold Chanel Dupree and Johnny DiMera accountable for adopting her child. Another kidnapping, to put it briefly. After all, she was developed by Holly Jonas and Tate Black, and the writers are aiming to make her the next Jan Spears. Rachel might agree if she makes a commitment that they would go on a run with her mother. Or Rachel will show herself to be a decent girl by staying when Sophia flees. Since Rachel has demonstrated that she has a conscience, we believe this to be the most likely possibility. Although it's a big change from her last existence, she didn't actively try to harm anyone until recently. Better as a team. We won't act as though we don't want to witness the chaos that Sophia and Rachel can bring about. It would be epic. That would also account for Kristen DiMera's tears. Finding out that one's daughter has been abducted once more will cause that. On that one, consider the extremely critical and devout Sarah Horton. Sophia and Sarah should be on the lookout for stairs. History is repeated. Simply put, additionally, it will raise the show's level of danger and menace before they are discovered. There are some interesting storyline options for the aftermath if you also consider if Rachel is being held captive or coerced into helping. This may go in a lot of different directions, and it will be interesting to see what the two of them have planned. Would Sophia and Rachel be a fun team? In your opinion? How Tate can prevent failing Days of Our Lives. The rinse December 4th. Holly and Brady will assist. In the December 4th episode of Days of Our Lives, Tate approached Johnny DiMera, the professor of film studies, to inquire about ways to improve his grade. Since Johnny shrugged and replied, there's nothing. It is clear that he is not a very good amateur teacher. How about concentrating more on your other classes? I have to go. Toodles. Now that he's furious, Tate is hiding his impending failure from Holly, his girlfriend. Tate shouldn't be concerned, though, for 3 reasons. He will be, all right, the magic of money. Why does Tate act as though he would be expelled from college if he failed every class? Yes, he has previously been expelled from school. However, what came next? His problems, they're vanished after his parents made a substantial donation. After that, he was accepted to a different school after his parents made yet another kind donation. Does Tate believe that boarding school and college are any different? He is quite foolish, isn't he? Brady's son will immediately make the dean's list if he were to endow a chair at Salem University or whatever. The diploma mill. Tate doesn't really need an education anyway. Whether he has a diploma or not, Titan has a job waiting for him. Or at Black Patch. Or within the ISA. Tate has a lot of connections. If there's one thing we know about Salem, it's that you can lead a multinational company without any prior expertise. Correct, Theo? Acquiring the girl. Lastly, we don't understand why Tate is so reluctant to discuss his problems with Holly. She doesn't seem to give a damn about the intelligence of the man she is interested in. Do you recall Doug 3? All things considered, he was an inept human being, a horrible liar, and a horrible scam artist. He continued to captivate Holly, Tate, and she will be all right. EJ is fascinated. Kat also tries to strike a bargain. EJ DiMera is haunted, as revealed on December 5th. Will Jack Devereaux, meanwhile, take the action that everyone ought to have taken in the first place? We also speak with Chad DiMera. What you should know is as follows. Friday, December 5th, spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Reminiscences. EJ first becomes fixated on the past. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, he now recalls being at the same facility as Kat Green. He will therefore probably want to learn more about whatever recollections he has of it and what Kat recalls. As evidenced by the lengthy social media peek, it clearly causes him to think differently about her. This is obviously exactly what Kat desires. She was clearly concerned about Chad when she arrived, and she purposefully used the sentence from Wuthering Heights to jog EJ's recollection. This puts her in a prime position to exploit whatever emotions this may arouse in EJ in order to drug him and look for proof of the crimes the FBI and ISA believe he is responsible for. When Chad returns, and this is all finished, it should be intriguing for Kat, since we feel sorry for EJ. We can't imagine how well he'll handle knowing that she's moving in such a covert manner. Friday, December 5th, spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Suggestions. Jack gives Thomas DiMera advice elsewhere. We sincerely hope that this is a much-needed reality check regarding Thomas's actions toward his father. The behavior has gone too far. Even if we know Jack is in favor of Jennifer Horton's plan to remove the kids, we believe that Thomas wishes his father would never return because Jennifer and everyone else have been way too kind to him. He really needs to be corrected by Jack. Friday, December 5th, spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Well done. In other spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Kat presents Jennifer with an offer. If Kat doesn't talk to Chad again, we presume she'll urge Jennifer to drop her custody lawsuit. If it's necessary, she can propose to leave town as quickly as feasible. But it's unlikely that Jennifer will be polite. Jennifer is obviously not going to be in a compromising mood because she will essentially label Kat a predator in a scenario between them. We're hoping Kat doesn't just accept it. Friday, December 5th, spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Back together. At last, Tony and Kristen DiMera provide Chad with an update. They will undoubtedly tell their own tales of how they got into the crypt, now that he is also confined with them. According to Eric Martsolf of Days, the players will return to their wild live show in 2026. Even if Brady and Rachel's plot takes a darker turn, Eric Martsolf piques interest in the Day players' 2026 performances. On Days of Our Lives, Brady has been struggling to keep his head straight recently. He is a father examining the fragments of a truth he never wanted to discover, that Rachel, not Kristen, was the one who shot EJ. That burden is with him everywhere he goes. It was almost as if Salem itself exhaled when something lighter entered the chronology this week. Eric Martsolf chose to add a little fuel to the fire with a video that fans ate up after a different type of headline surfaced, one that was directly from the Day players' own social media section. The band declares it official. The Day players made the announcement on their official Instagram, writing, "Don't miss us in 2026. It only took a few lines to find a gig at thedayplayersband.com, and all of a sudden, people were looking for tickets as if it were an old-fashioned summer tour announcement. These people have a tendency to show up, plug in, and then the fun kind of explodes around them. Additionally, Mart Solf included a film that seemed more like a friend leaning in to tell you what's actually happening backstage than a promo. He added, "It turns out that we have some extremely brilliant musicians on Days of Our Lives." He mentioned Broadway veteran Wally Kurth, genuine country music performer Carson Boatman Johnny, and a gifted man named Brandon Barish Stephan. "So, we tour around the country with this acoustic band," he said after expressing gratitude. "It's roughly half storytelling and half music. Fans have informed me that we gaze at them on stage and sing Livin' La Vida Loca in their face, as if we just jumped out of their TV. They ask me what's going on at the moment. The responses came fairly quickly. Rachel's next step and Brady's breaking point. Very nice show," wrote one fan. "Fantastic harmonies, tons of sing-alongs, and a great time, and wishes they had been a part of the 60th Days Gala. The band, according to a fan, brings happiness everywhere you go, something Salem could really use in large quantities." Another pleaded to go back to Alabama. Another person virtually screamed with enthusiasm as they commented on a May performance that was already booked in Pennsylvania. "They make people feel wonderful, and viewers are craving it." It was the universal vibe. However, as the commotion surrounding the band subsided, viewers returned their attention to what was happening on television, particularly Rachel's breakdown. Brady took the difficult decision to commit her to Bayview in the hopes that someone there might be able to reach her in a way that he was unable to. Sophia, who might or might not be as catatonic as she seems, is sharing space with her. And if the rumors are true, Rachel may be the one to revive her, or connect with her in a way that creates a much more serious issue. While Kristen and a few others are imprisoned in the DiMera crypt after being released from prison, the shooting's secret is still festering beneath the floorboards. Marlena's health worry isn't helping to calm Brady's guilt, which is a tempest he can't escape. If Rachel and Sophia have a genuine connection, Bayview, not the DiMeras, might be the source of Salem's next earthquake. Chad observes that EJ and Jennifer value Tony and Kristen. According to Friday, December 5th spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Chad is now with Kristen and Tony, and EJ is reminded of something when Kat makes a bargain offer to Jennifer. After that, on Days. First, Tony disappeared twice. After that, Kristen is said to have escaped from prison. Chad is nowhere to be found. Guess what, though? They're all together. DiMeras is being abducted and imprisoned by someone. However, nobody has yet determined who or why. Children Incorporated. Thomas and Charlotte's custody appears to be more in jeopardy than ever because Chad is missing. Jack has some insightful things to say to his grandchild, but not so much for his wife. When Kat approaches Jennifer with a fair bargain, however, Jennifer receives her own food for thought. Kat will never again interact with Chad, and Jennifer will allow him to raise his children in peace. This arrangement is much the same as what they had before, except this time. Does Kat truly mean it? More? Friday flashback. EJ is recalling his past with the enigmatic woman who would visit his room while he was in a burn-induced coma. Also Kat, while Kat is planning her future with Jennifer. He was unaware of her identity, and she was unaware of his. However, her voice now seems familiar, and EJ is resolved to discover why he knows Kat much better than he initially believed. The big boy chair. Theo may soon be the sole guy standing as DiMeras vanishes one after the other. He already believes he is capable of managing the family business. Maybe he will believe he should lead the family as well. Fortunately, Gabby frequently bursts those bubbles and reminds him that he is still young and still learning. With Theo teasing Gabby and joking with Ari, we're all set for our romantic triangle in a matter of days. Brady undergoes a significant life transition. while Sophia might have lost it once more following her encounter with Rachel. On Days of Our Lives, Rachel tells Sophia the last thing she wants to hear, Leo consoles Marlena, and Brady chooses to move in with Maggie. Leo visits Marlena in her hospital room and gives her a gift. She is touched when he asks her to officiate at his and Javi's wedding, and is incredibly appreciative of the thoughtfulness. Yes, she responds. Leo then makes the spontaneous suggestion. Although Marlena is pleased for him, she is also concerned about her own family, the one she just detonated. This harm cannot be repaired. Leo tells her that she's a great friend and therapist. Will there be more drama for Tate and Holly? Brady tells Tate everything Rachel did, but he tells him to keep it quiet. Even from Holly, there is yet more relationship drama in the works. Meanwhile, Ari and Holly cross paths on the square. Holly is worrying and complaining about Tate, which is her default state. Ari is becoming just as irritated as we are. It's not all about you. To further emphasize the point, they meet Tate as he is leaving the pub to pick up his paycheck. He informs them that his sister lives in Bayview and that his grandmother had surgery. He is now skipping class to visit Rachel. Goodbye, Holly. Will Maggie pay attention to Kate? To discuss Titan business, Kate pays Maggie a visit at her house. Stephanie's latest novel is failing miserably. Titan is too. Kate informs Maggie that she has to steal disgruntled DiMera executives since she isn't brutal enough. Maggie yells at Kate to stay in her lane because she doesn't think Tony would enjoy that when he returns. Brady stops by to share the news about Sarah, Rachel, and the pistachio ice cream. Additionally, he no longer wants to live with Marlena, and Rachel is in Bayview. It's all her fault. Is there someone stalking Stephanie? Before Holly leaves to work on her internship and Kate takes her seat at the table, Ari and Holly have a brief conversation in the pub. She apologizes for skipping Thanksgiving when Roman joins them, but when Leo proposed to Javi, everything fell apart. She still despises him, too. Ari doesn't have to like him if she doesn't want to, according to Kate. Ari approaches Kate for the Titan internship as a diversion. Kate promises to put in a good word for Ari at DiMera, but that isn't happening. Holly discovers that half of Stephanie's fan mail is from the same ardent fan after going through it in the square. Sophia is looking for what? Continuing from yesterday, Sophia informs Rachel that she has been feigning a coma in order to gain the upper hand. Although she is not prepared to speak to others, Sophia wants to reassure Rachel. Fortunately, Rachel understands Sophia's intentions and swears to maintain the secret. However, when Sophia explains her commitment, Rachel surprises her. You nearly killed 2 people? On purpose, you're correct. Sophia, keep an eye on your back. Finding out who adopted her child, however, is the real reason she is there. However, Tate interrupts Rachel before she can reveal anything, and Sophia turns the mute switch back on. Sophia leaves the room, but Rachel is not amused by her brother's frivolity and finds him even less useful when he acknowledges that he doesn't have any toys. However, Rachel panics once more when the nurse announces that visiting hours have ended. Tate immediately heads to Sophia's room after, suggesting that visiting hours are more of a recommendation than a regulation. He tries to talk to her softly, but she doesn't listen, so he gives up and walks away, saying he will come see her. In the last scenes of the show, he brought coloring books, which Leo and Marlena used to pass the time. All she needed was a flow activity to break the spiral. After confirming that Brady is sober, Maggie informs him he can return to the mansion until he finds a place of his own. To complete pumping Rachel for information about her child, Sophia slips back into her room. She is not pleased with the response. Her insane eyes don't either. Days of Our Lives. Will Charlotte refuse to leave Chad behind so that she and Jennifer can travel to Boston? How Billy Flynn is thought to leave DOOL show that Billy Flynn's departure as Chad DiMera is unfortunately inevitable and will happen sooner than fans anticipate. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Thomas is eager to move to Boston with Jennifer. Due to Flynn's imminent departure, Connor Floyd's character Chad will take over. There will probably be a period of time during which Chad is not on the show to get the public used to the new actor. To be clear, we are not pleased with Billy Flynn's departure from the show. In addition to being aesthetically pleasing, he is a skilled actor who is a perfect fit for the part of Chad. We think Flynn did a good job portraying Chad, and we hope Connor Floyd does a good job portraying Chad DiMera. In April, Connor Floyd begins his DOOL run. Billy Flynn, meantime, will undoubtedly be missed. Thomas DiMera is eager to relocate to Boston with Jennifer Horton Devereaux. That does not imply, however, that Charlotte DiMera want to follow suit. Unlike Thomas, Charlotte is loyal to her father and does not share Jennifer's absurdity. It is completely ridiculous that Jennifer is attempting to sue Chad for custody of his children. No judge in their right mind would give custody to an irate grandmother whose main grievance is that she doesn't like the woman their father used to date. Chad is a caring, stable parent. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Carrie Christopher has left the show, and Thomas won't forgive his father. Given that Chad has been treated inhumanely by Jennifer and Julie Williams ever since he dated Kat Green, Thomas's treatment of his father is reprehensible. But now their romance is ended. It shouldn't be a problem anymore. However, Jennifer is prepared to fight and remove Chad's kids from their only surviving parent. Chad poses no threat to his children. When Thomas lost his temper and ran out into the center of the road like a doodad, he was struck by a car when he was with Jennifer. We're getting off topic, though. We believe that Thomas needs to remain at home and begin seeing Marlena Evans for treatment. His actions are nearly as rude as those of Rachel Black. In addition, he is probably still dealing with the loss of his mother, Abigail Devereaux DiMera. The Halloween prank that Thomas and Rachel performed might have killed someone, and Thomas hasn't adequately dealt with his loss. Charlotte is a different tale, but Thomas is unwilling to forgive his father. Jennifer is adamant that she will take Chad's children no matter what. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Chad might relocate to Boston to be nearer to his children. In actuality, Jennifer would lose in court and her custody request would be denied. But weirder things have happened here in the land of Salem. We believe that Jennifer will be granted custody in some way, even if it's just temporarily. Billy Flynn's character Chad in the Peacock soap opera might relocate to Boston in order to be near his children. In this manner, he might be introduced with a new beginning when he returns as Connor Floyd's Chad. Additionally, because Carrie Christopher has formally stepped down from the part, we don't know if the show intends to recast Thomas. It's possible that Charlotte returns home with her father while Thomas stays in Boston with Jennifer. Charlotte is a kind child who doesn't have a rational resentment toward her father. It appears that Jennifer might actually be granted custody of the children, and Chad might choose to relocate to Boston in order to be near his kids. Chad is an amazing father who has demonstrated his willingness to prioritize his children. If necessary, he will temporarily depart Salem to try to make the most of things in Boston while the dust settles.